All right, these are speeches that were given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1991 and 92. This was in 92. This is shortly before he became paralyzed. He had a stroke and he was paralyzed, so he couldn't speak anymore. All of these are talking about Moshiach. And just one little word about Moshiach. Moshiach is the whole purpose of creation is Moshiach. Moshiach is not a side thing. It's not the cherry on the cake or something. And Moshiach is the essence of Judaism. It's what Abraham worked for. That the whole entire world would recognize the creator of the universe. Av Hamon Goyim, like Avram. And here now we're talking about Abraham. This is going to talk about Abraham and his connection to correcting the world, that the whole world will recognize, Yakiru v'yedu kol yishvei tevel, that the whole world will recognize what God is and what Tikkun Olam really means. What does it mean to fix up the world? We say also in the Aleinu prayer, Yitaken et Olam b'malchut Shaddai. Well, the world will be fixed up with the kingship of God. Everyone will see that there's a creator and that the creator has given us responsibility, every human being. And every human being is important, precious to the creator. We'll see that. We'll feel it, but it depends on us Jews, and we have to learn about Abraham. Abraham realized that, and Abraham was willing to go through these 10 terrible tests in order that this message should be brought to the whole entire world. Okay, Parshas Lech Lecha. In this Parsha, which is called Lech Lecha, by the way, the words Lech Lecha mean that God said to Abraham, Abraham was living in a place called Haran, and that, is this right now? He was living in this place called Haran, and God told him, Or Kasdim, and he said to him, Abraham, you're doing pretty good over this. He said, oh, thanks, God. I'm rich and I got everything. and God said, Lech Lecha. Abraham was 75 years old, right? He said, Lech Lecha, go. So Abraham said, okay, I'll go, but why? I mean, I'm doing pretty good over here. God said, don't worry, I'm going to make you great. You're going to have a great name. You're going to be famous. You're going to have children. You're going to everything is going to, you think it's good now? Wait, you're going to see how good it is. Go. So Abraham goes. And like I said before, he goes and he comes to the Holy Land, the land of Canaan, the promised land, the place where God told him, and it was desolate. There was nothing to eat. There was a famine. And Abraham waited as long as he possibly could until he realized that starvation was looking him in the eyes, and he had to leave. Abraham had to leave. Okay. Nevertheless, this Torah portion is called Lech Lecha. God said to Abraham, go to yourself. Lech Lecha, go to yourself. Your true self is going to be found in the land of Canaan. Parshat Lech Lecha, Parsha Klalit. This is a general Torah portion. It includes all the Torah that comes after it. Va'ikra, it's very essential. This is very essential to the Torah. Why is it essential to the Torah? Why? But Parsha Zu, in this Torah portion, this Torah reading, Matchilat Kufato Shel Avram Avinu, it begins the what's called the eon, the period, is a better word for it, of Abraham, Yehuda Rishon, the first Jew, era. This begins the era of Abraham. Now, there's a midrash that says that this world is 6,000 years of this world, 2,000 years of confusion, 2,000 years of Torah, 2,000 years of Moshiach. The 2,000 years of confusion, that's until Abraham was born. Abraham was born approximately 2,000 years after the world was created. A little bit less, but 2,000 years after the world was created. That Abraham, he began the 2,000 years of the Torah, preparing the world for the Torah. 2,000 years. And the 2,000 years of Mashiach, and that's what we're in now. 2,000 years of Mashiach. Okay, Vayomer Hashem, that's approximately 2,000 years after Abraham was born. Vayomer Hashem al Avram, God said to Avram, Lech Lecha, leave, me'artzecha, go from your land, from your birthplace, from the house of your father, to the land that I will show you. And afterwards, Parsha, it continues, it says, our Torah portion continues in telling us about how Abraham did what God said, that Abraham went and traveled the Eretz Yisrael to the land of Israel. and the promise of God, Latet la'Avram, to give to Abraham and his sons the land of Israel. L'zaracha atein et ha'oretz hazot, to your offspring I will give this land. Of course, that only happened when the Jews got out of Egypt, right? Lech et lecha et nanu, to you I will give it, u'l'zaracha, and your offspring ad olam, forever. And there was also the Brit Bein HaBatarim. There was the covenant between the pieces. This week's Torah, look and see in this week's Torah portion. Bayomahu karat Hashem el Avram Brit. On that day, God made with Abraham a covenant. Le'mor, to say, l'zaracha natati et ha'aretz hazot, to your offspring I gave this land. So God gives the land of Israel to Abraham. I'll just say a parenthetical statement. The LUbavitcher Rebbe said that they're trying to bring all these proofs that we were here before and we lived here and we were here in the time of the Turks and the time of the this, and we have signs in the time of King Solomon. The Rebbe said, even if no Jew ever in the history of the world lived in Israel, not even one Jew ever lived here, the land is ours. It was given to us by Abraham, by God to Abraham. God promised it. Doesn't make any difference if people lived here, if Jews lived here, who lived here. It makes no difference. God promised it to us. True, popped up a few other people that said, no, we're the real Jews, or we're the real Jews, or we're the real Jews. Okay, you can say anything you want to, but only the Jews have been saying this, that God promised them nonstop for the last 4,000 years. Jews have been saying this, that the land belongs to us. The Jews that were in Egypt, they knew that they were going to go out. They were going to get out, to come to Israel. That was 3,300 years ago. Okay, in any case, God promised this land, the land of Israel. He promised it to Abraham. Now, a normal person might ask a question: what in the world why is it so important to have one particular land? I mean, there's a lot of religions in the world. They don't depend on a certain land. You have to be in this land that belongs to me. And after God said he was going to give it to the Jews, now there's all this contention, all this arguments. No, it belongs to me. It's my land. It's mine. What do you care? Let the Jews live there alone. And just so the Jews, they're crazy. They want a little patch of land. Give it to them, the little patch of land. There's so much more in the world. You have to, this little patch of land, you have to. And why do the Jews want it so bad? The Jews, no, it's our land. It's your land. It's your land. What do you care about land? There's land all over the place. You know how much empty land there is in the world? No, the land of Israel, because God gave it to the Jews. Everybody knows this is a holy land. It's a godly land. It's a living land. Something special is about this land. It's got its certain identity, an unchanging identity. This land is real, true proof that there's God. How so? We'll see in a second. But, that's our Torah portion. It talks about how God promised the land of Israel to Abraham, until the end of this week's Torah portion. It's talking about that God commanded at the end of this week's Torah portion. God commanded Abraham to circumcise himself by means of this, by means of Avram Avinu, by means of Abraham our father, that through it there was made with Abraham another covenant, a covenant between the Jewish people and God. That this started the Jewish people. This covenant of circumcision said, from now on, you are going to be my people. So the same thing as the land of Israel was a physical place, as this, and that gave identity to the Jewish people, and also it gave identity to the world, that the world is a creation of God. The same thing is, God told Abraham to circumcise himself, and this put a physical sign, a physical, how do you say, brit, a signature, a permanent agreement that man, the Jews, first of all, the Jews are chosen, and that man is created by God. Every human being. Not every human being has to circumcise themselves. The commandment is only for the Jewish people, but when they did, so it shows there's something special about all humanity. The circumcision was made to Abraham, that he was called when he made the circumcision. That's when he his name was changed, and he became the father of all mankind. In other words, he had an obligation to tell all humanity that there's a creator that loves you and creates you. But especially the Jewish people were chosen to do this. And since because of this in our Torah portion, Lech Lecha Me'artzecha, Havtacha, the promise of God on the land of Israel, and the commandment of circumcision. Heim and Yanim, they are the first things in the Torah concerning the service of Abraham. And Abraham was the first Jew. Asher Mimeno, that from him, Makoro Shalom Yisrael is the source of the Jewish people, all of them. Hare move, and so it's understood, She'im Mevatim, that these promises of the land of Israel and of circumcision, and the commandment of circumcision, this expresses as a token the content, clearly the general content of what is the Torah and what is Judaism. Judaism is not just another religion in the world. It says Moshiach is going to come. There's not going to be any religions. There will be no religions. All of the religions in the world are based on lies. That's what the prophet Jeremiah brings. He brings that the Maimonides brings it. That the Sheker Nachalu Avoteim, that all the world will see that their religions are all lies. They're all based on spiritual experiences and this, and of course on their success. They had success, and success brings success. But the fact of the matter is that all of them miss the point totally, and they don't really worship the Creator. And if they do, it's not the way the Creator wants. The only one that really got it right was Abraham, and he passed it to the Jewish people, and we are supposed to pass it to the whole rest of the world. That's the whole point of the Torah and of the Jewish people and the land of Israel and the commandment of circumcision that the Jewish people do. You do, it's known, She'im Avram Avinu Hechelo, that with Abraham began the period of 2,000 years of Torah. Abraham began the preparation for the giving of the Torah. Even more than the Seichel Mimenu, he began the whole idea of the giving of the Torah. Abraham was like something like 400 years before the Torah was Torah was given. Yeah, about 400 years before the Torah was given. The Torah was given like 2448. The Torah was given. The Jews got out of Egypt. So Abraham was like 200 years. He was born 500 years before the Torah, but his whole life. About 400 years, but he began the preparations for the Torah, Kedeita, like it's written in the writings of the Arizal in Kabbalah. Abraham began the whole preparation of the giving of the Torah. Therefore, the 2,000 years of confusion ended when Abraham was born, not when Noah was born, because Abraham prepared for the Torah. And especially I'm sorry, that this began mitzivur, from the commandment of God to Abraham, Lech Lecha. When did this whole thing of Judaism begin? When God commanded Abraham, leave your land, leave your birthplace, to the place that I show you, Shalochen, to the land that I show you. Shalochen, therefore, Gam Lo Mesupar, it's not mentioned in the Torah, Milvad Pratim Spurim, except for certain small details, Odot Masav Shel Avram Avinu, what Abraham did, B'terem Bo El Eretz Israel, before he came to the land of Israel. Talks about that he got married, and Abraham, when God commanded Abraham, he was 75 years old. All those 75 years old, it's not really told very much about what Abraham did. He must have done some very, noteworthy things before that. Exciting things, interesting things. You could spice up the Torah a little bit, but that doesn't interest God. What interests God is what happens afterwards. After God tells Abraham, leave your land, that's the beginning of the Jewish people. Iker, Sipor, Masa, the main stories of Abraham's deeds, that begins from the commandment of Lech Lecha. The Ech Shabo, and how he came to the land of Israel. Sha'az, then Abraham was 75 years old. Come aboard, like it's explained in great length in the books of Hasidut. Tzorech Labin, we have to understand. Call in Torah, the whole thing of the Torah. And Torah, the word Torah means teaching, hora'ah. Hu hora'ah, this is the teaching, nitzchit, in eternal teaching, B'kol Zman, in all times, B'kol Makom, in every place, B'avodasam, in the service of the Jewish people. That's the of the Torah. Ma'yiv, so what is the teaching to the service of the Jewish people after the giving of the Torah? That's us, from Lech Lecha Me'artzecha, from what God told to Abraham, which was 400 years before the Torah was given. Irui Chad Pami, which that was a one-time thing. God told Abraham that is a preparation for giving of the Torah. Lichior, at first glance, my dahavi havi. What was. The Torah is not a history book. I mean, the Torah is also a history book, but the point of the Torah is the history is, how do you say, by the way. On the way, the Torah tells us the order of things, the different families and the different things. Last year we had a whole big Megillah about the different families that came from Abraham until Noach, from Noach until they came from Adam until Noach, and then from Noach until Abraham. There's great detail what is told, what has happened. Each one of these things has some significance, some Kabbalistic significance, if for no other than to know all of the generations until came along Noah, was a very important person, and then 400 years after Noah came Abraham, also a very important person. But all these historical facts are only by the way. The main point of the Torah is to teach us our attitude and our speech and our thoughts and our action and our emotions and our ideas that we should have in order to serve God. That's what the Torah is for. So obviously, this whole story that's told about Abraham, that God told Abraham to go from his land and etc., this must have an importance to everyone. And the answer is, we have to know, the service of Abraham, Lech Lecha, this is a preparation and an empowering, empowering, and la'avoda, to the service which is after the giving of the Torah. That's the explanation. Said the Rebbe, that's not a good enough reason. Mishum ein zehorah, this is not a teaching, the poil actually in the Jewish people now to us. Maybe we can say, listen, Abraham did all these things. This is a preparation for the giving of the Torah. So that's good, but okay, God already gave the Torah. What is Abraham's deeds and the fact that God told Abraham, leave where you are and circumcise yourself? What has this got to do with me and you? Okay, except for the thing of land of Israel belongs to us because of Abraham. Who even uses that argument, right? Who even uses that argument? The Rebbe said that someone should stand up in the United Nations, someone from Israel, and say the land of Israel belongs to us because God promised it to Abraham. Why doesn't anybody just say that? Land of Israel. So they don't say, but okay, that's one instance. We're not talking about just the political aspect of it, who the land of Israel belongs to because it belongs to Abraham. We're talking about a message in serving God for every single Jew and eventually every single human being. But let's take the Jews first. Every single Jew has to learn something from this, that God told Abraham, Lech Lecha, go out from your land, and he gave him the circumcision. What's going on? Yaterim is even more. The Kol Shana, the whole entire year, Keshakorim Parshas, Kol Shana, every single year. Keshakorim Parshas B'Torah, when we read the sections of the Torah, Yesh Lechiot Imo Mechadash. We have to live with the Torah portion brand new. We have to find a lesson for our day-to-day life. Every time brand new. Now, the Jews have been reading publicly from the Torah since Moses. Since Moses came down with the Torah, the Jewish people have been, so that's 3,334 years, 37 years. Year after year, the Jews have been reading the Torah, repeating it over and over again. And each time they get to each idea, we can't say, hey, listen, I learned that already last year. Every year has to be brand new. And every year we have to learn a brand new message from the Torah, even if it's the same message as last year. But because our life is brand new, we're alive, we don't rely on the fact that I lived last year, so that's good enough. I don't have to live this year. Our life is brand new. So the same thing, the messages from the Torah are brand new. Mikoshach, and how much more so from the fact that every day the Torah has to be in your eyes as brand new. How much more so in the special time in the year, Shabbat Korim is the parsha we read the whole entire Torah portion in the Torah, and we read it publicly, and we read it with all the blessings before and afterwards. Right? Even if you're just reading in the Torah, you should learn from it. But if we're reading this in public, we're making blessings before and afterwards. It must be something very, very monumentally important in each and every idea of this week's Torah portion. Kevin, since Sha'az Chozrim, we repeat Alatzmom. In Yanim Ameduburim B'Parsha, the things are repeated. What we read last year, but Dugmat Hitrachshum B'Pam Rishon, it has to be repeated, but it's like the first time, brand new. Adarabba B'Hosafa B'Yoter, even in addition. It's like if a person, God forbid, he gets sick. He gets very sick, he's very ill, and loses consciousness, and all of a sudden, miraculously comes back to life. Comes back, opens his eyes, and says, how precious is every moment of life, right? I tell the story, my father used to tell the story, he had an aunt or something like that. This we're talking about, I don't know how long ago, 80 years ago. And she couldn't hear. She had an operation so she could hear. And she says that she was just amazed. She had to go to counseling or something because, what is that? It's a bird. What is that? That's a door closing. Everything was brand new to her. So, okay, once she got out of it, then things become regular. It's not such a big deal. Bird, hear that, Grandma? What is it? A bird? Bird chirping. What's the big deal? Bird chirping. It annoys me. Right? If a person would realize what a miracle is that we see, so every moment that he sees, he would appreciate. Every moment that we hear, every moment that we're alive. Says the Rebbe, we have something that's even a bigger gift than seeing and hearing and even being alive. We have responsibility. God gives every human being responsibility. And that's why we have eyes, why we have, what should you use it for? We learn from the Torah, and it has to be brand new, just like we never knew it before, like a blind person suddenly can see, a deaf person suddenly can hear, how much he appreciates it. That's what we should look at the Torah every moment. There's a new lesson, Why? Because I'm being created brand new every moment. Every moment is a miracle. Every moment is a surprise. That's the way it should be anyway. So if so, we can find something new that we didn't see in the previous years. But Dorish Beer, we have to explain this. Ma'u'enyan, what could this possibly be as a preparation for the giving of the Torah that Abraham did to us now? There's a message now. What could it be? What could the message be? Now we're so far after the giving of the Torah. We're already 3,300 years after the giving of the Torah. So Abraham prepared for the Torah. He prepared for these 2,000 years of Torah. He was 400 years before the Torah. That prepared for the Torah. Good, okay, but what's it got to do with us? The Torah was already given. We don't have to prepare for the Torah. Not just after the preparations of Abraham for the Torah, but we stand now after the completion of the Torah. God already gave the Torah. Even more. Inyan Shel Matan Torah, the whole idea of the giving of the Torah, it says it's every day. We say in our blessings in the Torah that God gives the Torah, notena Torah, hoveh, present. Result, like the rabbis say, but kol yom, every day, the Torah should be like brand new. And even more, it should be not just like brand new, it should be brand new. Excuse me. According to the commandment we said before, the Mailim B'Kodesh, that we always have to increase in holiness, as move on Shabbat Yom every day, we have to make something new. Liyot B'Darga Nalit, we have to be a little bit higher than we were the previous day. A little more appreciation of God, a little more appreciation of life, more appreciation of the creation, of our responsibility to the creation. It should be a little bit, more refined, more enthusiastic, more dynamic every day. That's what it's supposed to be. In Cain, if so, after all of these elevations that we made, since giving of the Torah every day, Uben knows of the kach, in addition to the fact that it has to be made differently every day, midei shana l'shana, especially every year. When we read about this in the Torah, kasher korim, when we read about this in the Torah, but Parshat Yitro and Parshat Etchanan, right? In Parshat Yitro and Parshat Etchanan, we learn about the giving of the Torah. It repeats the giving of the Torah. And how much more so in the holiday of Shavuot, when the Torah was given. If so, we've elevated ourselves, aliyah achari aliyah. We've elevated ourselves time after time, b'meshech riboy hachigadol shal yomim, a tremendous number of days and years, shanim and years, and even generations. If so, what can we possibly add to Lech Lecha ka'achana l'matan Torah as a preparation for the giving of the Torah? Okay, a person can say, listen, what are you talking about? I don't elevate myself. I don't know what you're talking about, elevating. This is the first time I'm elevating myself. I'm learning about this in the Torah. And I'm realizing, Abraham had a job in the world and he's connected to God and he's thinking about God. So I'll do it. That's the first time. Okay, what about a person that wasn't the first time? What about a person, a big rabbi, the LUbavitcher Rebbe, right? He's been doing this since he was born, since he was this, elevating himself, and there's big Hasidim, and then the holy other Jews, righteous Jews, that every time they read in the Torah, they elevate themselves. So, okay, we've been doing this. They've been righteous Jews and devoted Jews and sensitive Jews and holy Jews since the Torah was given 3,300 years. And every time, every opportunity, we're elevating ourselves. Okay, how much can we elevate ourselves? What could possibly be a message more than all the thousands and thousands of messages and elevations that we've had up to now? What's the point? Okay, so the Rebbe is going to tell us something that should really inspire us, and here we go. Lo nitan lomar, we cannot say that the service of Lech Lecha, of going to yourself as a preparation of the giving of the Torah, is rak avur eila, for only these people, shechasar etzlem, that was lacking by them, avoda kashur lamatan Torah. Right? People that they never thought about this before, and this is the first time. Mishum shegiluim apoalim shalaseres diboros, because what? When God gave the 10 Commandments at the first time on Mount Sinai, and it's also understood every single year when we read about it, it wasn't depending on the level of the service of the Jewish people. I don't know why this thing pops up. What is this? All right. When God gave the Torah, He elevated the whole world. The giving of the Torah itself had a refinement on the world, whether people wanted it or not, whether people were prepared or not. It says, Sipor lo tzavach, a bird didn't chirp, Of lo parach, there was no other, another fowl that flew in the air. When God gave the Torah, everything was calm. Allah had kama b'kama, how much more so all the Jews. Adasher called dibur b'dibur, until every single word, their souls jumped out of their bodies. When God spoke on Mount Sinai. Shezem moreh, this indicates on the fact, shehem egiu l'shleimus avoda, that when the Torah was given, they were totally purified, their souls in their bodies. Therefore, it says their souls jumped out of their bodies. It was so pure. If so, what are we supposed to do now? We've already been purified by the giving of the Torah. We're the highest level possible. Says the Rebbe, maybe we can say like this. The Kudas Abir Bazeh, and this is self-understood. Kevin Shematan Torah, since that the giving of the Torah, Yeshno is Bakal Yom, every day and every year. Bofen na leyoter, and higher, whether we want it or not, automatically. On until L'chadashim mamish l'gabi matan Torah, that it's every year it's given totally brand new. Mudgash, like it's stressed, especially in the idea of Lech Lecha, Hachana, the preparation of the giving of the Torah. That has to be true going and leaving where you were to a new place. Incomparable to where it was before. We read about this in the Torah, and if it's read in the Torah, it must have an effect on us. Therefore, it's necessary to be b'yom zeh, even on this day, ubashana zu, and in this year, avod of lech lecha, we have to do lech lecha. We have to leave what we were before, and this is a preparation, v'hakdama, and a forward, lamatan Torah, to the giving of the Torah on this day and this year. What's the Rebbe saying? Every year, the Torah is given anew, and it has a tremendous effect on us. If so, we're already affected, we're already purified. Said the Rebbe, yeah, but that first time that the Torah was given, Abraham prepared for it, 400 years of preparation. No, now every year the Torah is given, we also have to make a preparation. The Torah requires a preparation. True, God changed everybody, yes, but nevertheless, if you don't prepare yourself, you don't internalize this gift that God is giving us. Like the rabbis say, I'll call Dibur Parcha Nishmatam, that on every word that God said, their souls jumped out of their bodies. After every word, Horid Tal Sha'atid Lechiot Atametim, their souls jumped out of their bodies, means in Mount Sinai, everybody died. So it says after every single word or letter, whatever, God gave this dew, D-E-W, that's going to raise up the dead. God enlivened them again. Tal Torah, this is the dew of the Torah. After their souls went out, after the first word that God spoke, since that they reached what's called the completion of service of God, namely that their souls were linked to God, but that was due to the fact that God spoke. So be'emsut tal, then after God was, when he wasn't speaking, so what then? It says there was a dew that God, the dew of the Torah, that put the soul back into the body. Why? Because the soul was given shlichus, it was given responsibility, a new responsibility that was even higher. Therefore, it says, I'm sorry. Therefore, God enlivened them as a soul in the body. So it was also, so what happened to Mount Sinai? The souls jumped out of the bodies, that was perfection. Every soul reached its true identity. But then God put it back into the body. Why? Why put it back in the body? Because there was a new responsibility. And then God spoke again, the soul jumped out again. And God gave it even more responsibility. Al-Derech says similarly, after the second word that God spoke, and everything was higher and higher than the level that was before. Shechziru davkali de tal, because the dew that's keeping our soul in our body, the force that's keeping us alive in this world, is this dew that's going to raise up the dead. This is the level of the Torah Chadasha, the new Torah that Moshiach is going to bring. That's what we're going to talk about before. And let's just do this. Here we go. We can say in even a deeper way, Shetzorech Hatamidi, the constant necessity, Gam Achar Matan Torah, even after the Torah was given, that we still have to raise ourselves up. Lech lecha, we have to go out of who we are as a preparation for Matan Torah. Simply what this means is that you have to realize that you're being created brand new all the time, that you're a new human being, and that the new human being that you are has a new responsibility, increased in addition to what there was before, not erasing what there was before. So a person's brand new every moment, so he doesn't rely on who he was and be satisfied with who he was, because brand new is brand new all the time. That's the whole idea of Avram. Every moment should be a preparation for a higher level of giving of the Torah. Also, but also lech lecha nogea le'etzem inyan hashleimus shel Matan Torah. Not just that we're preparing for the Torah, but the going that we have to change ourselves. This is through the power of the Torah. The Torah is not just something that we receive and then we have to prepare for a higher level. The Torah is something that receives and it enables us to inspire ourselves to reach a higher level, to leave who we were before. In a simple way, why do people get angry? An example, you get angry because somebody angered me. Who is this me that I'm angry about? You're me. What do you mean? It's me. It's the me that was a couple of seconds ago, a couple of minutes ago. If I would realize that the me that was a couple of seconds ago is a big miracle that God has created, so that would lessen my anger and my egotism by 90%, maybe even 100%. But I would realize that I am getting angry. Who am I? I'm just a creation of God. I'm a guest here. But I'm a guest here. I'm not a. So when a person, that's just an example. So when it's every moment, a person can realize more and more that he's being enlivened by God and that he's being given a new responsibility by God every single instant and a new empowerment to do that responsibility. And that's what Lech Lecha comes to teach us, and that's what we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow.